Good morning, GVA. Mr. Rulli here with another wonderful author interview. And today we have local artist and author, Linda Knoll. Linda, welcome, and thank you so much for being on Good Morning GVA today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, excellent. Well, we are so excited to talk to you today. We have a few questions to go through here, and let's just go ahead and jump right in.
Okay.
Great. Well, Linda, I understand you're working on an arts magazine for
Yes.
kids and families. What could we expect to see from this magazine?
Oh, well, my goal is to get the magazine out to families, just to keep kids exposed to all the different kinds of arts. It's not just a visual arts magazine. It has stories about music and theater and dance and all the different kinds of arts. And it's really focused on groups and people around this area. So kids understand that we have a vibrant arts community here in Stanislaus County.
You know, that is such a great point there. I'm always amazed to see the talent that is in this community. All right. So, what is your passion behind a project like this?
Really, it's just I mean, I love that kids love art, and I want to get it out to as many kids as possible in whatever ways I can. And when the pandemic hit last year, gosh, it's almost been a year. I I was teaching art classes in the schools, and we haven't been able to do that at all. So I kind of started thinking of other ways that I could reach kids with the arts and fun things to keep them engaged while they're at home. So our first issue was actually all about doing art at home and making things from homemade objects.
Where could we get a copy of that magazine?
Well, if any businesses were open, I'd have them in a couple of places. At Mistlin Gallery is one place we'll be selling them, at
Okay.
the Carnegie Center in Turlock.
Okay.
Right now, they are available on my website, which is lindaknollart.com.
I'm going to write that down right now.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I'd love to check that out. All right. Well, hey, what do you hope that children and families get out of your magazine?
I just hope they get an opportunity to have some fun with art and to think about all the different ways that we can express ourselves and all the different kinds of art that are available to them. So it's really just about having fun and a little bit of learning, but mostly just just being exposed and having a good time.
That's great. And it's great to have that kind of a creative outlet. Sometimes just drawing or painting, I just simply feel better afterward. And my work
Oh
isn't
yeah.
always that great, let me assure you of that, but it's fun to do, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
When did you first realize you had a love for art?
Well, really, I mean, I've been around art, all the arts actually, all my life. My mom was a painter, and my grandmother was an artist. She was a fiber artist, and she was actually pretty well known in the valley and in Yosemite.
Oh, wow.
So, I grew up with it, and we grew up singing in choruses and playing in bands, and so our whole family was involved in music and the arts. And I was in theater in high school, and I mean all those things. So it's just been forever.
Just always been a part of your life, it seems like.
Yeah, always.
Now, did I hear you say she was a fiber artist?
Yeah.
What is that?
She basically painted with yarn. So
Wow.
yeah, she called them stitcheries, and I'm wondering if I have one here on my wall. There's, I have a little art wall behind me,
Oh,
and
look at that.
there's one of them, and it's embroidery and applique and yarn and all that sort of thing. So
Oh, that is fascinating. Well, news to me.
yeah,
So many different kinds of art out there.
yeah, for sure.
Well, I want to talk about one of your specific books that I happened to pick up a few years back. It's called Over in the Valley, and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful picture book filled with beautiful watercolor of some of the flora and the fauna in the area. So I think our viewers would like to hear kind of what did it take to complete a project like this from start to finish?
Wow. I started it at one point, just as kind of a personal project. It's actually based on an old song that my mom
Oh,
used to sing to us when we were kids, and it was kind of that bedtime song, that we had her repeat over and over and over. And it was a way for me to pass it on to my daughter and my nieces and nephews. So um, I actually wanted to kind of personalize it in a way that, because we were from here, we've always lived in Modesto, and so I took the song and I revised it to reflect the animals and the habitats that are in this area. So it was really a bit of revision and research and thinking about, what animals actually do live in this area, what would fit with the story, what's going to work with the song, and of course, what I could actually illustrate. So there was, even though it came from an old song, there was a lot of revision and changing and rewriting and that sort of thing, and that took me a while. And then once I kind of had settled on the text, I started the illustrations, which took me probably about 6 months to complete. And the whole project took me about a year, I think, before I actually had the printed book out.
oh, wow.
So, but yeah, and it's a lot of here it is, a lot of revision and writing and redoing and rethinking things. And just this last year, I actually, it was 10 years since I did it. So I made a 10-year edition with an additional picture.
Ooh,
And this is a new picture that's in it of animals that are actually no longer in this area.
okay.
They're have either moved up to the foothills or gone away another because of changes in habitat and that sort of thing.
Oh, interesting. So are you trying to say here that it wasn't perfect, your very first draft? It took more and more work?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I know kids love to turn things in that are, oh, here it is, and not ever change it. And as a writer and an artist, you have to be willing to take critique and be able to uh, rewrite and revise. And sometimes it's very hard to let go of those original ideas, but you want to make it the best you can. So revision is an important part of the process.
Boy, that is well said. Great advice there. Great advice. All right. So I love animals. I don't think that's any kind of a secret. I think we all do, right?
Yeah.
So, what is an interesting animal indigenous to our area that our viewers might not know about?
Hmm. Well, I like the California tiger salamander, which is my favorite picture in the book, and she's always smiling. This is why I like her. But she lives in a really interesting environment and has kind of a unique story. So um, it's one of my favorite little creatures. You might think that it's a lizard because it sort of has that lizard shape, but it's actually an amphibian, like a frog. And they live in a place called vernal pools, which are temporary, ephemeral is the word that they want to use, for pools that fill up when it's rainy in the wet winter and early spring. And then as the summer comes along, they dry out, and the salamanders actually live underground in burrows during the summer when it's hot, and then they come out in the fall again when it turns cool and wet.
Oh, that is fascinating. Well, hey, I will
Yeah.
have to look for those salamanders around in the area. Any chance I'll actually find one?
Well, they're pretty hard to find because they are endangered, but there are a few places where I've heard that you can see them. So every
Excellent.
now and then you'll hear about a tour out to one of the wildlife refuges where they take salamander walks.
Well, that sounds like a great thing to do. I want to take a salamander walk.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, what advice might you have for young artists and young writers? What would you advise?
Um, I would say if you love art and writing, just keep doing it. Do it, practice it, learn the craft, develop your skills. It's important to know what the basic skills are in both writing and art, and from there, then you can build on your creativity and put your own mark on it. But I think it is really important to be able to do it well, with the basics and the the rules of grammar. And even art has rules of, not grammar, but they're rules of the elements of art. So and it's good to learn them before you go off on your own just to be expressing yourself.
Well, I heard it said one time, you have to learn the rules before you can break them.
Exactly, right.
Excellent. Well, Linda, is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
um, Gosh, I could show you a little bit, another book that I wrote just briefly. This one's called Patient for Pumpkins.
I love
And
pumpkins.
yeah, this was my second book, and it's actually all about our local farmers market and the pumpkin season. So this one is a little different because I used people characters in it, and I actually wrote the original story of this one too. So
Oh,
that's kind of
excellent.
fun.
And that was called Patient for
Yeah.
Pumpkins?
Patient for Pumpkins. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, I will definitely be checking that out as well.
Okay.
Linda, we sure do appreciate your time today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did as well.
Thank you. I did.
Excellent. Well, hey, you take good care, keep on writing, keep on painting, and hey, you do you. We love your work.
All right.
Take good
Thank
care,
you.
Linda. Thank you.